What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the official Cliffy J, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm going to be giving you guys a survivor tier list of the new era players based on how I feel about them as game players. Now, I'm obviously not going to rank every single player from the new era, so I decided to pick 5 or 6 players from each cast from season 1 to 45, from season 41 to season 45, and rank them. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The tiers that I have are S tier, legendary gameplay, A tier, all time great, B tier, above average, C tier for the mid, D tier, I got the players that maybe got some potential, and then F tier is for the players that I believe should never play again. Now let's just get into it. Not even gonna waste any time. And the first player that I'm gonna be ranking is Deshaun from Survivor 41. Now, Deshaun is someone that I actually really liked him during the season. Obviously, him flipping on Shan probably wasn't the best move, and blowing up on Erika probably wasn't the best move. So, obviously, I can't rate him too highly. But overall, as a player, I think that he was pretty well rounded. He had a good enough social game to build relationships with a lot of the players on the cast. And, well, like, the players from his initial tribe, and those relationships definitely helped him make it as deep as he did in the game. Because even with him blowing up on Erika, they had a good enough relationship. That's a big reason why he made it so deep in the game. Yeah, now overall, he's a pretty good player, but I can't rate him too highly. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Deshaun in C tier. And the next player that I'm about to rank is Drea from season 42. Now, Drea is someone that I think it's pretty easy to assess her game. She was okay socially. She wasn't the greatest physically or strategically. Like, she was clearly athletic and strong. So I'm not like assuming she's bad at challenges, but she didn't really dominate or anything there to make me think, oh my god, she's just some type of challenge beast. But I do think Drea has a lot of potential. She found so many advantages, and she did really good in the pre-merge and early merge. I just think she has no threat management, so I'm gonna have to put her in the D tier. Maybe some potential, and I definitely think she has the potential. I could see her doing really well on her return. And the next player that I'm about to rank is Carla from Survivor 43. Now, I'm not someone who's a fan of bitter jurors. And even though I do feel like it's arguments to be made, which I'll probably make the argument later in this video, that Gabler played a better game than Cassidy, I can't help but thinking that Carla was a bitter juror. And I really don't even understand why. I don't know. Carla's a really, she's an easy player to assess, I feel like. I'm not going to put her too high. But I do think her dominating her pre-merge tribe was very impressive. But it reminds me of a couple of the other players that are going to be on this list and be in the D tier. And that's just simply because she did dominate her pre-merge tribe. But I don't even know if, all the decisions she made then were the correct decisions. Getting rid of Geo, it's not like it was a terrible move. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was the best move. I don't think it was the most strategic move either. I think it was kind of a move just, for making sakes of like a big blindside of someone with an advantage in their pocket. And then obviously getting rid of James, honestly, was something similar. It's like she only got rid of James because he had the advantage. He had a still a vote or a legacy or something like that. Like, that seems like the only reason that she really got rid of James. And obviously, more goes into that. She thought she had a better relationship with certain players and things like that. But that move just was a very misguided move. And it just makes me think that even though we were able to see a lot from her, I I just think that she's someone that has potential because she showed some good things, but she showed a lot of bad. That makes me think that I can't rate her too highly. So I'm also going to put her in D tier. And the next player that I'm about to rank is someone from Survivor 45. You guys didn't realize I was kind of going season by season with these first couple ones. I'm going to go ahead and rank Katora. Now, Katora, very easy to assess. I'm going to put her in D tier. I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't want to down talk the sister too much, but she just is honestly, she's a good social player. I really think she is. I think that other than her relationships with Bruce and stuff like that. I think that she played good socially. I'm not saying that she was just like loved. Oh my God. No, like, okay, I need to stop doing that. But I'm not saying that she was loved or anything like that, right? But I really just think that she was good enough socially to make that point with some type of respect. Like, I ain't saying she would have won a jury, but nothing like that. But I mean, like, she wasn't hated out there. So I do think she's a good enough social player. I think she understands strategy enough to play another time. But I mean, same similar with Carla, where you just made a lot of moves that just threw me, or you went with things that kind of threw me. That I don't know if were necessarily the best for your game. I mean, obviously it wasn't the best for her game because she lost. But yeah, I just think that, I mean, that doesn't always mean that. But I think that it wasn't the best for her game, obviously. And, I just think that she could have played more strategically, I guess, or more correct. I don't know. I think she can be good, but it's definitely some stuff that she needs to improve on, without a doubt. And the next player that I'm about to rank is Shan from Survivor 41. Now, Shan is another easy one for me to assess. I'm going to just go ahead and put her in C tier. I think she's a mid player. I think that her trajectory in the season 100% came down to what Ricard, Deshaun, and Danny and players like that were going to do. Because these were the ones that had the capabilities to flip on her. Um, and that's how I kind of just look at it. Like, she played a good game. Like, yeah, she had some moments that might not be the greatest for your social game, or it might raise your threat level too much. But she's clearly a pretty good player at Survivor, in my opinion. And I think she showed that during the season. And that's really it. I mean, she's not amazing. She's not all time great. She's not even an above average player. I would say she's an average player. She's mid. So, yeah, boom. The next player that I am about to rate is Omer. Now, Omer is someone I probably should be saving for a little bit later. Because maybe this is a hot take. I think Omer was a little overrated. I feel like maybe some people are coming down to like seeing his game now and maybe not thinking he has this great, all time player now that we have the likes of some of the players that were on 44 and 45 and even 43. Like, I think that it's clear now that he's not that great of a player. But that being said, he's still a really good player. He's still a B tier player. He's still a B tier player. Really good player. Overrated. Overplayed his hand. And if he wasn't dealing with some if he wasn't dealing with some dumb dummies on his season other than like Marianne, I mean, I'm gonna be real. He probably gets sent home way earlier. That was crazy. He probably gets sent home way earlier pulling the moves he was pulling. I'm gonna be real. And the way he was playing, it was pretty shisty. And I mean, he got caught up in his lies, and I think that happens all the time. I really, is Omar mid? I ain't gonna lie, Omar is mid. I'm gonna put Omar in C tier because at the end of the day, I mean, he made moves, but I'm not saying his moves were even the greatest. Like, is getting rid of Drea and how really the best move just because they got advantages and are other big threats? Like, is that really the best move, or did you just take out the big threats game and then lie to your allies and make yourself look stupid? I mean, I'm gonna be real. This dude's been overrated. And now that I really am someone that analyzes Survivor a little more and is looking deeper at it, this dude is not that good. I'm gonna be real. So he's a C tier player, mid, period. I mean, very overrated. Starting to almost piss me off. The next player that I'm about to rank, we got our first winner out here, Mike Gabler. And now, this is one that I ain't even gonna go too deep into it. I think it's pretty obvious. He's a C tier player. He's very well rounded, decent physically, good socially, and in my opinion, I think he's underrated strategically because he understood the strategic game. That's one thing. And I mean, you don't have to be super active strategically to be a good strategic player. So overall, I think he's an extremely well-rounded player, decent physically, good socially, and good strategically. On to the next. And the next player that I am about to rank is Danny from Survivor 44. Now, Danny is actually tough for me to rank because I like Danny. I didn't really have a problem with Danny, man, but he completely overplayed his hand, made himself one of the biggest threats, made moves that were not in his best interest, flipped on his allies. So, the guy's basically a goofy. I'm gonna be real. When I really think about it, Stu's basically a goofy, man. Now, I think that he got some potential. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Danny in D tier where he should be at. He gonna like it there. So go ahead, Danny, D tier, motherfucking weak ass boy. Um, yeah, next. I'm at just cause these guys, Lord, Danny sucks after that. But yeah, next, another Survivor 45er. Stuttering all day today, guys. But yeah, another Survivor 45er. I got Austin, and Austin is someone I really could not wait to rank. I really like Austin and Drew. Let's just do them in succession. Austin and Drew played the game very well. They just trusted D too much. And that's really what it came down to. I mean, there's other great players that have done a lot in the game of Survivor, like on one season and stuff like that. I don't see what really separates Drew and Austin from other like players that have gotten to the end. Like, I mean, that have won and stuff, because they played the game how you're supposed to play the game. They got to the merge and got their people to the end, bro. One of them was gonna win because of the way what they were doing. Same with Julie, same with D. Not discrediting either of them, not taking it away from either of them. But I mean, we've seen the active gameplay of Julie, Drew, Austin. So like to build these relationships and stuff like that. And then obviously some with D. So like I just really think it's no way I can't have both these guys really high. Me personally, a part of me really, really wants to put Austin in all-time great, because when I'm looking at the best runner-ups, like, why is he not one of the 10 to 15 best runner-ups? Like, I'm saying 15 being generous. Like, why is he not a top 10 runner-up? Like, honestly, he's a top 10, like, U.S. Survivor runner-up. Like, why not? So, like, and if you ain't saying top 10, he's top 15 without a doubt. So, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like I gotta put him up here. I was gonna put him in B tier. I've been going back and forth a lot, but I'm gonna go ahead and put Austin in A tier, just so I don't have myself confused, and just so I can feel like I'm confident in. I'm not really confident in him being in B tier, but someone I am confident being in B tier is Drew, and this might be a hot take. So I feel like some people are probably gonna be a little bit lower on Drew because he didn't make it as far as Austin or some other players, but I don't really see what separates him from, other great, final jurors and stuff like that. That's the player Drew really is. Drew is a final juror type player, bro. A lot of those fallen angels, like Drew is basically that type of player. He just didn't make it to that position because Drew had the respect. Drew played a really good game. Drew played strategically, socially, physically. He did everything in this game to prove himself as a player to me. And I know other people maybe disagree. They might put him in a lower tier, and just got to do it. He's clearly an above average player, man. New age Spencer type shit. I don't know. Not really. But, new age Spencer. He might be better than Spencer. I mean, give him one more time. Give Drew one more chance. He might prove to be better than Spencer. Because, I mean, he had it easier than Spencer, though, too. So that definitely matters. He had it easier than Spencer. So I ain't going to sit up here and act like he didn't go through the Infinity War Spencer had to go through along with Tasha on Cagayan. They had to go through it. I'm not going to cap. But yeah, let's get into the next player. The next player that I'm about to rank is the next winner, Erika from Survivor 41. Now, Erika is a player that I've always liked. Even though when I watched the first time, I ain't gonna lie, I thought Xander was gonna win. And then I thought Deshaun should have won. I always thought that. It took me a while, that's the thing. Maybe I still was like a little bit of a casual in Survivor 41. Maybe I was, but I feel like I was already looking at the shit deeply. I felt like Deshaun should have won that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I was just looking at like early game, and then the fact that he just survived until that point after actually having a very dominant stretch. But I was, obviously, if you don't look at exit press and things like that, you don't know, exit interviews and stuff. You don't know like how great that Erika actually played at that point, in the end game and stuff like that, which you kind of can see it on TV, but it's even better when you hear all the groundwork that was laid and put her into that position, her along with Heather. So now, obviously, I know it's clear that Erika deserved the win. Like, not even close. These guys are nowhere near her game-wise. But at the time, bro, I was heated when Erika got it done. So overall, Erika is the definition of a well-rounded player. She's good enough physically to win challenges. She's really good socially. She's good enough socially to be liked and to be respected. That's a big thing I think people don't like look at as much. Is like, are you liked and are you respected? Like Erika was liked, respected, all that, and she was winning a jury vote against a lot of players, if not most players, right? Um, and then strategically, she was clearly good enough to maneuver the game at multiple points and make moves and things like that. Get certain players out that were the big threat to her, and get other players out that were gonna also take her next step and stuff like that. So Erika's a great player. I want to put her on all time great. I don't think she is that tier of player. That's just my personal opinion. I think a lot of people are gonna have Erika over Austin, but I just personally think that I would have Erika at B tier as an above average player, but the top of B tier. I don't think anyone else in the B tier is going to be above her. And the next player that I'm about to rank is Danny from Survivor 41. Now, it's also pretty easy to rank him because I just see him as the definition of a well rounded player, along with Erika. I think they're both B tier players. C tier, he might be C tier. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in C tier. He's a C tier player, very close to B tier. Extremely well rounded player, probably the best player in C tier, in my opinion. Another Survivor 41er, we got Ricard. Ricard definitely overrates himself. It's the best way to say it. If you think you're anywhere near any of Cerie's games, you're clearly talking about Heroes vs. Villains. It's the only one that his game is anywhere close to. And then obviously, yeah, it's better. But overall, Ricard is a pretty decent player. He showed me enough for me to know that I think he's also a C tier player. Pretty well rounded, good socially, good physically, and good strategically, but his threat management is not very good. So he became a huge threat down the stretch. And then we have Survivor 42, Jonathan. Now, he's kind of a tough player to assess because his placement and then his stature and all that would make you think clearly he had to be a good social and strategic player to get that far with his stature and things like that in this era of Survivor. But not really. The dude kind of got carried by Omer. And then Marianne and Lindsay. He really didn't do much. He kind of just won a couple challenges, rode with his alliance, rode with Mike. That's really what he did. He didn't really do much. So I might have to go ahead and put him at D tier. I think he definitely has some potential to play well on this game, but from what I've seen, he's nothing special. Then we also have another player that is nothing special, but in my opinion gets overrated. We got Lindsay from Survivor 42. Now, it's obviously different for Lindsay. I don't think that she's a D tier player. Obviously, she showed that she is a good player. And her getting that deep with like some type of win equity, with not even just some type, with win equity, I think that she's best as just a social player who doesn't think much. It's best when she doesn't have to do strategy and stuff like that because I don't think she's a strategic thinker. Not one that thinks steps ahead and things like that. But she's good enough physically. She's able to win challenges along with Jonathan. And then she's pretty good socially and likable and stuff like that. And she's a playable person that people will want to vote for. So I got to go ahead and put her at C tier. She's pretty mid, but she's a good player overall, when I'm just, looking at it from an unbiased perspective. Then we have one of my favorite players of the new era. We got Cody from Survivor 43. Now, Survivor 43 is a season that I actually enjoyed more than most, I think. I actually really enjoyed 43. And it kind of turned me back on to new era Survivor because I think season 42 is pretty overrated. But overall, Cody is a very, very likable guy. A fun-loving, happy dude that also is kind of strategic. Like, it's not like he's terrible strategically or anything like that. I think that it is, something to be said about him letting Jesse get over on him like that. Like, that was bad. But, people fall into false sense of security and think people are loyal to them. That happens all the time in this game. Amazing socially. And in my opinion, your ability to garner respect from the jury without being an extremely strategic player, like, I think that does matter. Perception wise, they did perceive him as, probably the he was kind of like the figurehead for Jesse to a certain extent. So I definitely do think that plays into it. But all that, like when you comment all that, I think it's pretty clear. He's one of the best social players of the new era. On top of that, he's playable winner. He's good enough physically. I think he does understand the strategic game, even though he didn't express it all the way. Jesse was able to get over on him, and Jesse was the main strategist. So I'm gonna have to have Cody in B tier. And another player that is gonna be in B tier is Carolyn. Now I know a lot of people love Carolyn. A lot of people thought that she should have won over Yam Yam, which I disagree with, but that's a conversation for another video. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in B tier. I think that she's one of the better strategic thinkers, strategic minds, just strategists of the new era. I don't think she's bad socially. I just don't really know what else to say about Carolyn that would be in the good category and like the game player. That makes me think she's a great character for sure. I wouldn't mind having Carolyn on every season, but you know, she didn't really show me personally much as a game player. You know, to compare to Yam Yam, I guess is what I'm saying, because she's a good player, good socially. Not a physical competitor, but she's strategic, very strategic, and she's good strategically. So I feel like you got it. And then she also did have some respect. It's just Yam Yam. Yam Yam. We'll talk about Yam Yam actually right now. Let's talk about Yam Yam. I'm gonna go ahead and put Carolyn in B tier, and let's talk about Yam Yam. Yam Yam is an amazing player. He's good enough physically. He's good enough strategically, even though I do have some issues, with him wanting to take Carson to the end. That wasn't very good. And the way he handled his relationship with Josh also wasn't really the best. But other than that, he handled being a big threat really well throughout, the merge. He traversed the game very well along with Carson. It wasn't just Carson building relationships, it was him also that made them play, be able to be in the position that they were in. And I mean, he's just a fantastic player. In my mind, I think some people aren't as high on Yam Yam as I am, but I personally have to have him in A tier. He's the first player that has broken that all-time great tier. And the next player that I am about to rank is Emily. Now, Emily from Survivor 45. Ah, man. I'm going to put her in F tier. And people will disagree. People don't understand it. They might not. But what? Like, no real shit, though. What did she do? Dead ass. Like, I know. Okay, she worked with Caleb on that one vote. She flipped on Sabaya with Caleb on one vote. Nothing else she did was smart. Nothing else she did was the right move in my mind. Nothing else she did was cool. Like, she just is a dumb player. Like, I mean, she's a game bot, but not a smart game bot, not a strategic one. F tier. Not doing this. No. F tier. Period. Not a great player. Not a good player. Not even an average player. And you know what? She played so much in the game and so long in the game and didn't show me anything. It's like the point where, like, I can't sit up here and say, well, I mean, she didn't have the chance to show me much. No. She had the chance to show me, and she didn't show me anything. She had the wiggle room. She had everything, the opportunities. It's not like she was on the bottom during the whole merge and stuff like that. Like, no. So, bad player, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I have reasons why. I kind of explained them there. If you guys want to have me go like a deep dive on why Emily is not a good player, I will. But I think most people would at least somewhat agree. I mean, Caleb taught her how to play this game. Let's keep it real. Um, and the next player that I'm about to rank is Cassidy from Survivor 43. And watching Survivor 43, I loved Cassidy. That's just real. Like, I really, really loved Cassidy, and I still like Cassidy. It's just, she was kind of annoying on the challenge. Like, maybe it's because I was really, really, really riding with the Secret Garden and riding with Michaela and Desi and Chanel, and they were riding with Bananas. So if you know me, you know I'm a Bananas fan. So I was, with whatever was gonna help him get to the end, and whatever was gonna help those three beautiful black women get to the end. That was what I was looking at. But especially because I was already fans of Desi and Michaela coming into the season. My sister was already a fan of Chanel coming into the season. So I didn't have no reason not to cheer for them over Cassidy. And she was just kind of annoying. It was like she was fucking being a crybaby. Like, you're going to get sent to elimination. It's part of the game. I mean, especially when you know the context of the fact that she didn't play that hard when she was on the blue team because she knew, well, we're safe. Her and Chris just thought they had the whole game figured out, but you didn't. Now, Chris, he figured the shit out. He went on to figure it out, but nah, he didn't have the shit figured out like he thought he did. So yeah, after saying all of that, I love Cassidy, but I'm gonna go ahead and put her in. Excuse me, I had to burp real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in the C tier. Now, for me, the C tier players, she was one where I really debated on if I was gonna put her higher than Carla because Carla dominated the pre-merge, and she was, one of Carla's allies that benefited off of the dumb move that Carla made. Off the dumb moves that Carla made. Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and just put Cassidy in D tier actually, cause she was a bit delusional. When you get to the final tribal, her reads on the game were just off. Uh, she was tolerable socially. It's not like they liked her or something like that. I feel like they loved her. And, the only one that really loved her was Owen and James. So like, and she was good at comps though. She was good at comps. So I'm gonna say D tier, maybe some potential. I think she has a lot of potential. You know, and that's what I'm gonna leave it at. I'm not gonna sit here and slander her name or anything like that. I was gonna put her at C tier, but I'm gonna decide to put her at D tier now. It's just how the cookie crumbles. And the next player that I am about to rank, we're almost at the end here, guys. God damn it. The next player that I'm about to rank is Carson from Survivor 44. And I think Carson is a very, very great player. I think that he came into Survivor with a great game plan. And I think he came into Survivor and played, honestly, the best he could with the hand he was dealt. Period. At every opportunity, he made stuff work. Early in the game, he made stuff work and was positioned good and had everyone liking him. He gets, swap screwed and makes that work too and wouldn't have went home if they went to tribals, would have been positioned in the middle there. And then he gets to the merge and uses those relationships. Him and Yam Yam build more relationships and they just dominate the game. And it's mainly because of him and his strategy and the way he wants to play the game. Threat management definitely matters, but at a certain point, it gets to where you got to win comps because you are a big threat, because you are a great player, because you're going to win at the end. And he wasn't able to get it done, but he's not like the type of player that I can't ever trust winning a challenge. But just based off the game that he played, it was extremely impressive. It is one of the best final juror games in the chat. I mean, in the challenge history, it's crazy. In Survivor history, without a doubt, I don't care what anybody says. I gotta have him in legendary gameplay. It's just it. And I might as well just run over Jesse also because it's essentially the same thing. He dominated the pre-merge. He dominated it. Yeah, it was him and Cody, but he's the one that had the best relationships with everyone on the tribe, except for like Noel. And I don't even remember. Like I'm pretty sure him and Noel still were good. So like he had that, and then him and Cody just dominated the merge. He was the main strategist. He made the move to get Cody out of the game. All he had to do was win one challenge. What it came down to, he probably doesn't win against Cody. So he made the optimal moves at every point in the game that were just meant to make it, and you just couldn't win the last challenge. I mean, that just is what it is. He played a great game, a near perfect game. You know, if he was able to win a challenge, it would have been considered one of the best games, one of the best winning games of all time, without a doubt. For sure, a top 10 to top 15 winning game of all time, clearly. And he's one of the top 5 to 6, 7. I don't even know exactly, but I'm not going to do numbers or rankings. But he's one of the top 5 final jurors of all time. Him and Carson are two top 5 to 6 final jurors of all time. So we have 2 winners left. We have Marianne, who Marianne is the type of player that I really, really, really don't like to assess because she's a likable person. She's fun. She's social. But I don't know how consistent of a player she really would be. Like, cause her game, I think, is better than even her as a player, and I don't think her game is all that impressive. I'm not gonna really go too deep on it because I do want to eventually make a video about each winner of this era. But I'm gonna just start by saying that I'm gonna just end this actually by saying that Marianne is a good player. Period. I think everyone on this list is a decent player, at least in their own right and somewhat. but I'm gonna go ahead and put Mariana C tier. I don't know if that's a hot take, but Mariana C tier. I think she's a mid player. I think she's a good player, but she's mid a little bit. And then the last player that I have to rank, I think we all know who it is. If I left this person off the list, it would have been crazy. As I just said, the other winner, we have D. And D is someone that I really couldn't wait to assess and to look back at their game and stuff like that, because I do think D gets rated very highly by most people. I wouldn't be surprised if she's in people's top 5, 7 winners of all time. It's just with her, Austin, Drew, I don't really separate their games as much as a lot of other people. I think that they all played really great. I think they're all great players. I think they're all some of the better players, clearly above average. Some of the top 50 players to play Survivor, I would argue, probably all top 50 to 75 without a doubt. So like I think D is definitely top 50, 40, players to ever play Survivor. I think Austin is for sure top 50, 55 players to ever play Survivor. I think Drew is without a doubt a top 75 player to ever play Survivor. Maybe that's a hot take, maybe not, but that is just my opinion. That is just how I'm looking at it, and D has to go an all-time great. They dominated the season. She was the one that was able to make the final moves to put herself in the best position to win. She did that. They dominated. She had a good enough social game. She had a good strategic game, clearly, and she was good enough physically to win some challenges. Still a really, really great player. One of the best players to play Survivor, without a doubt. A-tier player. And that's the end of the list, guys. Let me know what you guys think. It's a pretty long video. Gonna do my best to cut it down as much as possible. But that is it. I'm wrapping the video up. See you guys in the next video. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what are some other video ideas you guys would like to see? And the next video on the way will more than likely be something about the challenge season 40. All right, peace.